Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you.
Great. Let me just share my screen. So, hi, before starting, just let me just introduce about myself. I'm Divya. Basically, I'm a data analyst. I have about 7.6 years of experience into IT industry, and I have about 3.5 years of experience as a online trainer on data analytics. I have experience in teaching SQL, Tableau, Power BI, Python, statistics, and machine learning subjects. As today we are going to start a new SQL batch, and yes, first of all, just let me know. I can see we have two members here. Are you from IT industry or non-IT, or do you have any basic knowledge on SQL, or is this your first?
This is my first thing, ma'am. I'm from non-IT background and looking to jump into IT.
Okay, great. And what about you, Kishan? Are you from IT industry?
Yes. So I have around 6 years of experience in IT,
Okay.
and I'm little bit experienced with the SQL.
Okay. All right. And hi Ajay and hi Sheikh. So I just started my demo. May I know, are you from I mean, may I know something about your background? Like, are you from IT or non-IT, or are you new to SQL, or do you have any little knowledge on SQL like that? Ajay, can you hear me? Okay, Ajay, fine. And what about you, Sheikh? You're new to SQL, Ajay. Okay, fine. The reason why I'm asking all these things in the sense, if you are from non-IT background, and if you are planning to transit your career to IT background, you need to learn SQL first. Okay, if you are, and I also can say, if you are planning to shift to IT background, if you can choose data analytics or data science, I can say data analytics field, that will be very helpful for you, because in data analytics, we need to have some domain knowledge also. So if you are from non-IT background, you should be specifically from any domain, right? That domain knowledge is also, or if you have any non-IT experience, that experience is also counted as a data analyst. If you are planning to move your career to data analytics, if not data analytics also, if you are planning to start your career in any domain, SQL will be the basic subject. And I can say SQL is the backbone for any domain in IT industry. So you need to learn the SQL. You should have a sound knowledge on SQL. Okay. So data engineer, yeah, that is also fine, Ajay. Data engineer, data analyst is everything comes under data science only. For non-IT graduates, you will have much scope in data science or data engineer, data analytics in that field specifically. Okay. So, all right, let's start our today's class. And so before starting, before trying to understand about what is SQL, first let's talk about data first of all. Okay. So Can any, like, why data becomes so important nowadays? Like from last few years, data generation has increased a lot, right? Like we are started generating a lot of data today. So what might be the reasons? Any guesses? The first thing I can say, digitalization, right? This is the most important reason. That is, we are using a lot of apps in smartphones, right? We are generating a lot of data every second. Like we are spending a lot of time with internet, maybe in a Facebook, and Instagram, YouTube, or watching any series like that. Correct? This is all about applications. But if we talk about gadgets also, nowadays, most of our gadgets today are connected to the internet, right? Like a smart TVs, a smart watches, ACs, we have some Alexa, Siri, like that, right? These all are basically connected to the internet, and most of us are using them on daily basis, right? Yes, Ajay, I will cover SQL from scratch in this course. Okay, and I will explain everything very detailing from the scratch. From the basics, I will explain detailing with the examples. And unlike other institutes, I'm not going to, in many of the other institutes, what they will do, they will explain the concepts and they will explain the syntax, and maybe they will give some examples. But here, I will use real-time database. That is, I will use Netflix database. We all know Netflix, right? So that we can connect to that database, or basically what Netflix is, or what any online streaming apps like Hotstar, Prime, we know all of them, right? We can relate to that data very easily. So I will use that database in our course. By using that database only, I will teach each and every concept. Okay. So if you don't know anything about SQL also, no worries. We will cover everything from scratch, and I will explain everything very slowly. Okay. All right. So what I was saying, so we are using a lot of applications and even a lot of gadgets today, and all of them which we are using, they are connected to the internet, right? See, what is happening is with all these things which we are doing, we are generating data. And that's the reason data is become super important for us. Within the data only, some very interesting insights will be present, which will help us in making better decision making. Okay, let me just give you one example, then only you can understand. For example, let's talk about Netflix only. I guess every one of us might use Netflix or any online, OTT platforms, right? If you, we might have observed something called as suggestions over there, right? Like movies you may like, or series you may like, kind of thing. We can come across that thing, right? Whenever we watch one movie, after that we can able to see movies you may like, kind of thing, and they will suggest some movies for us. Correct? So how Netflix people will suggest particular movies for us? Because of data only. Okay, what it happens in the sense, if you remember, if whenever we are installing all those applications, we will give our basic data. Like maybe we will register ourselves by using our Gmail ID or mobile number, right? And if you remember properly, whenever we are creating our own Gmail accounts, we will give some basic details there. We should give some basic details, like along with the Gmail ID, we will mention our phone number, right? Our age, gender. Correct. We should give our gender and phone age also whenever we are signing up with the Gmail ID, right? Whenever we are creating our Gmail ID. So basically, with the Gmail IDs or within the Google, there will be they will maintain all our informations, like our phone number, our Gmail ID, our gender and age. Whenever we are installing the applications, we don't give our age and gender maybe for each and every applications, but anything like either Gmail ID or mobile number, we will give definitely, right? And after that, we will give some access permissions to them. We will just click on as you know, we might give some permissions to them, right? So at that time, what we are doing, we are giving permissions to that applications to access our data from the Gmail, so that each and every applications what we have in our mobile phones, in their database, they have our data like our name, Gmail ID, mobile number, age, and gender. Okay, everything is about data only, and with this data only they will start analyzing the things. Okay, like how Netflix, if we talk about Netflix or any apps, what they will do, they will analyze, like, you know, maybe gender wise data or age wise data, like, you know, from maybe 16 to 20 years of male, you know, males are interested in watching which kind of movies, 20 to 30 age of girls, females are interested in watching which kind of series, like that analysis they will do. Okay, and depending upon our data and depending upon our previous history only, previous watch history only, they will give us suggestions. Basically, humans won't give us suggestions like that. If I talk about particularly data science field, we will have machine learning models, especially for suggestions kind of thing. Okay, that in that model only they will just put our complete data in that model, and automatically suggestions will be generated. Okay, the reason why I'm explaining this is that with the data only, with our personal data only, each and every business is going on nowadays, right? They are analyzing the things, correct? Everywhere, by knowingly or unknowingly, our data is related in every field, in every, you know, whatever we use in our daily life, everywhere. They are business people are making their business, and they are generating their profits by using the data only. That is the importance of data. Okay, why I'm saying about the importance of data? If data is important only, basically data is stored in the form of databases, right? SQL is nothing but it is a language. Okay, going forward, I will explain you what is database and what is SQL. But if we know the importance of data only, then you can understand, like, you know, the reason why we need to learn SQL, like that. You can relate it to the real world. Okay. And see, as I said, we are generating large amounts of data, right, every day. As with this huge amount of data we need some good ways of storing the data, right? So actually, let me ask you one question. If I ask you how much memory you have in your mobile phone, what will be your answer? It may be like almost 128 GB, 256 GB, like that only, no? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. But suppose if you are using 128 GB phone, and if I ask you, could you think of buying a new phone with 16 GB? 16 GB, what will you say? Yes or no?
Won't be sufficient.
Won't be sufficient. So but if I say you can buy a phone of 8 GB or 16 GB and you can never run out of memory, is it possible nowadays?
No, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
Cloud.
actually, because of cloud, right? Correct. Because of cloud, because now
Okay.
storage is also moved from physical device to cloud storage. Okay, and the benefit of cloud storage is that we can actually access our data from anywhere we want, right? Because we know, right, data is growing exponentially now. For organizations also, they cannot keep on changing their hardware every day, right? So they need to maintain, or they need some systems which can be, you know, scaled up instantly based on the requirements. If we talk about the clouds in the sense, we know something like Google Drive, like that. Cloud systems or else Google Photos, where we will store our images or files in the cloud and we can access. If we run out of that memory, there will be some other options, like we need to buy some space, like that. We need to make some payment and we need to buy some more GB over there. Correct? So if I talk about any organizations, let me take one example. We know Paytm, right? What happened when the demonetization happened? Everything moved to digitalization, right? Like everyone started doing digital payments. So at that time, that organizations add basically, especially Paytm, what they had to do, their data increased rapidly, because everyone, almost within one night, like overnight, everyone started doing digital payments, and the load of the servers increased a lot. So that company needed big servers to manage and store that data. And that company, what they had to do, they had to change their servers overnight to increase the capacity to so that they can handle and manage the data. Okay. At that time, they literally in one day, they changed all their hardwares, all their servers. They expanded their server management so that they can manage the data. The reason I'm giving you all these scenarios is, first of all, you have to immerse yourself into that, how the data is coming and how we involved in the world of data. That's where you can understand that we need to learn about databases and SQL, all these things. Okay. So let's start the concept of databases. So to understand what is database and what is a SQL, that is SQL easily, let me explain you by taking one simple example. Okay. So give me a second. So let's first try to understand about what is database and what is SQL with a simple example. Okay. Suppose there is one school. Okay. Just imagine this is one school. And let's talk about the 10th class of that school. Okay. There is 3 sections in that school, that is 10th A, 10th B, and 10th C. Okay. You can able to see my screen, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So just imagine there is one school and we are talking about a 10th class and they have 3 sections. Okay. And each in every class, what they do, they will maintain one register. Okay. In that register, they will store the data, like, they will store the student name. Okay. Suppose student ID, student name, their marks or their attendance, like that. Previously, whenever in older days in our school also, they maintain some registers, right? Like that. Suppose they are maintaining registers and they have all the details, like roll number, student name, and maybe their marks details and their attendance details. Okay. One day, the school principal wanted to check the performance of 10th A of 10th A student. Then what he did, this principal, let me use another color. This principal, what he did, he called his peon. Okay. And he said his peon to bring the register from 10th A. Okay. Then what this peon will do, he will go to the 10th A class, he will take the register and he will give it to the principal, where In that register, we have all the data, right? Suppose instead of registers, if we store this data in the form of computers, okay, what will happen here? First of all, I said this principal, he wanted to see the, performance of 10th and he called the peon, right? And he said to peon that go to 10th A and bring the register, right? While saying he might have used some language, right? To make peon understand, maybe he might express that, he might say either in English or Telugu or Hindi like that. But basically he might have used some language to convey his message to the peon, right? That go and bring a 10th A register, right? Definitely he will use one language. So instead of registers, if we store everything in the form of computers, then what will be the thing? How we can store this everything in the form of computers? Any cases where we will store
Database.
database, right? We will store everything in the form of databases, right? And here, if I give exactly the examples, if I can relate that computers with these files, I can say, 1 second, let me just, I think my screen is was disabled, right? Can you see my screen, guys? Like, can you see the diagram which I have drawn?
No, no. You can see only the Excel file.
Yeah. Sorry for that. I think now you can see. Yeah, okay. So as I said, if instead of like this physical storage, if they moved everything to the cloud storage, that means instead of registers, if that means instead of registers, if they moved everything to the cloud storage, what it will be in a sense, this is the school, right? The school or the class will become databases. Okay. Inside the database, they used, suppose the class is the database. You can imagine class is the database. Inside the class, there is register, right? The register will be the tables. We will store all the, data inside the database, but inside the database, first we will create tables. Inside the tables only, we will store all the data. Okay. And I said, like whenever principal wanted, he called the peon and he said to bring the register, right? As I said, he might have used some language to convey the message, right? Either English, Telugu or Hindi. Like that, whenever we are storing everything in the form of, databases or tables, so whenever we want to, see that data or display the data, we also should use some language to, we also should use some language to make database understand what we want. Okay. To, basically to make understand the peon, principal might have said in English to go and bring me the register, right? So in the same way, if you want to fetch or if you want to see the 10th A students details, you need to say to database that I want to see the 10th A 10th A details, right? So at that time, we should also use one language, and that language is nothing but SQL. Okay. Did you got it? Did the things related with the example? The class will be the database. Inside the database, like inside the class, they are maintaining register, right? So inside the database, we need to create tables. Inside the tables only, we will store the data. And whenever we want to see the data, to make the database understand, we will use some language so that we should convey our message, right? We should convey what is our requirements. Then only database will send us the details accordingly, right? That language is nothing but a SQL. Okay, is it clear for you, everyone? What is database and what is SQL? Let's see what is the technical definitions. I will explain, but the basic concept, is that clear? Everyone, if you have any doubts, you can ask me freely. Just to make you understand what is database and what is a SQL, I gave you this example. Guys, please, let's keep this session interactive. You can, even chat in the chat box. If you have any doubts, you can ask me, or else you can at least tell me it's clear or it's okay. Either in chats also. You can unmute and you can speak, or else you can.
It's clear.
Right. Great. All right. As you know, if you are from the IT background, if you have SQL as a subject, that should be okay. But many of my students will be from non-IT background. So that's the reason from this scratch, I will explain everything by taking such examples so that they can relate to the things easily. Okay. So this is about the database and this is about the SQL. Now let's see the technical definitions. Okay. First, what is database in a sense? It is nothing but collection of data. Okay. As I said, inside the databases, we will store data, but we will store data inside the tables only. First, we will create the database. Then inside the database, we will create the tables. And inside the tables, we will store the data. And the data will be stored in the form of rows and columns in tables. Okay. Something like this. If you can really observe. Suppose if I give any example, employees is my table name. Employee ID will be my column name. Maybe employee name, salary. Okay. I will just randomly enter some data in it. Okay. So here, this will be, let me just. So employees will be my table name and this employee ID, employee name and salary will be my column name. Okay. Basically inside the table, I can say this is our table and this is my table name. I can say this is my table. Okay. And inside the table, everything will be stored in the form of rows and columns. Horizontal lines is called as row. That is, this is one row. Okay. Horizontal line. Horizontal line is called as a row. We have 3 rows of data here, right? This is one row, this is one row, and this is one row. And vertical lines is called as columns. This is one column. That is, employee ID is one column, employee name is one column, salary is one column. Okay. So inside the tables, the data will be stored in the forms of rows and columns. All right. So you might have already know about this, but again. So basically, this is the definition of the database, that is collection of data. And what is the definition of SQL in the sense? Basically, SQL in the sense structured query language. This is the full form of SQL, as we all know. Okay. And if I talk about the definition, I can say SQL is the language which we used to communicate with the databases. Okay. All right. SQL is the language which we use it to communicate with the databases. If we have some requirements, we need to tell to database that what is our requirement, right? So by using SQL, we will tell our requirements. That is, we will communicate our requirements. Okay. So this is the definition of SQL, technical definition of SQL, and this is the technical definition of database. Okay. I hope this is clear for everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Now that we understood the technical definitions of SQL and database, right? Now, see, when we are talking about the storage of data, see, not only databases, we can store the data in many forms. As you know, this is Excel file, right? This is an Excel file. We can store either in Excel, we can store the data either in Excel and PDF, right? And text file or any database. Like that, we have many ways to store the data. So if you can get doubt that if I can able to store the data in the form of Excel, then why the need of databases? Let's see that. Let's try to understand what is the disadvantages of Excel. So, and by using databases, how we will overcome that disadvantages. Okay. So let me open another file. Okay, all right. So suppose if I have any e-commerce website, or if I am selling any orders, then okay, suppose imagine if I am having any e-commerce website, I am storing the data in an Excel file. Then the data will be like this. Whenever I sell any item, there will be order ID generated, right? So I have order ID, I have order date, I have all these details like customer ID, customer name, address, product ID, product name, price of the product, supplier ID, supplier name, and manufacturer name. Okay. All right. So if I save, guys, I'm so sorry. Still, you can able to see the previous. Guys, if whatever I'm saying, if you cannot able to see, please tell me. Okay. Kishan, you just texted me. Instead of that, you can unmute and you can say. Sometimes in flow, I may not see the chat instantly, right? So yeah, sorry for that. So what I'm saying, if suppose I am having any e-commerce website and I am storing all the data in any Excel file. Okay, this is how I need to store the data in Excel file. Here I am having all this data. Once I sell any product, there will be order ID generated, right? So this is my order ID, order date, customer ID, customer name. Like that, I have all the details of my order details. I have customer details, product details, and supplier details. Okay. If we need to store in Excel file, we will store the data like this. So if we talk about the limitations or problems we will face if we use Excel, what will be the limitations? Any guesses? Anyone, any guesses? All right, let me tell.
It's
First,
limited to only one device.
limited to only one device, of course. And the first and foremost limitation is data limit. That is, we can store up to 1 million rows only. Okay. What if I have more than 1 million rows? Because in real time, we will obviously deal with big data, right? So what if I want to store huge data or the data above 1 million? I cannot store in Excel file, right? That is our first limitation. Okay. And this is our first drawback. And the second challenge is, I can say, performance issue, right? We will get performance issue as well. That is, as the size increases, the performance goes down. Suppose here, if you observe, I have 9 rows only. That is fine. Imagine I have 2000 rows. And if I want to open the Excel file, then obviously it will take some time to load the data, right? Maybe in seconds only. But if I have 2000 rows, it may take 20 seconds to load the data. If I have 20,000 rows, obviously it will take double or triple the time, right? As the memory increases, the performance will be decreases in the form of if we use the data in the if we store the data in Excel. So this will be our second drawback. Okay, first one is data limit. We can store up to 1 million rows only, and the second one will be the performance issue. Correct? If the data storage, I mean, if the rows increased, then the performance will be decreased. Okay. And the next challenge is accessibility of data. Okay, guys, as this is our demo class, in maybe first 2 classes, we will discuss only the theory part. Okay, might be in from the tomorrow's class or day after tomorrow's class, we will do everything practically only. Okay. First, before in the first class itself, I cannot explain you directly the queries, right? That is the reason. First, I will explain like this: what is database, what is SQL, then why the need of database. To understand the need of database, we need to understand the limitations of Excel and how we are overcoming this each of the limitation by using databases. Then we will then I will show you. We will use basically MySQL. I will also explain you the difference between SQL Server, MySQL, MongoDB. You may have such doubts. So I will tell you what is that. And after that, I will show you the user interface of MySQL. And let's start doing everything practically. Let's start creating database tables, and we will see each and every concept very practically, that too with the help of real-time database, that is Netflix database. Okay. All right. So our third limitation is accessibility of the data. That means in Excel, if we want to see any particular data, we need to apply a lot of filters, right? Suppose I have like 3000 rows of data, but I want to see some particular data only. So to access that particular data, I need to apply a lot of filters. Okay. So that will take some time. So in that way, we can say, the way of accessing the data is a little bit time-taking process if we use Excel. Okay, this is our third challenge. And the next and very important challenge is data redundancy and wastage of memory. Data redundancy. I will explain you what is that. And wastage of memory. Okay. See, data redundancy in the sense, if you see the data here, if you see in the product name, I'm capturing smartphone again and again, right? If you see in manufacturer name, I'm using Samsung. I'm writing the same name again and again, right? which leads to the wastage of memory. If, for example, if we talk about big firms like Amazon or Flipkart, what it happens, maybe they will sell one a Samsung phone or any iPhone, thousands of iPhones on daily basis, right? Daily they might have they might have sell some thousands of same products. If they keep on writing or if they keep on storing iPhone like this, it is waste of memory only, right? Correct? Because daily the same products, not only phones, any products, the similar products, they will sell thousands of products. We never know. Sometimes hundreds, sometimes thousands, but for each and every time, if they keep on writing the product name again and again, it is of no use. And of course, it will waste which it will leads to the memory wastage also. So just imagine, instead of storing like this, storing the data in this format, if I store the data like this, let me tell you. So if I store customer ID, customer name, and address separately. Okay. I already have this up. Just give me a moment, guys. Or else I'll do one thing. I'll just open one new sheet. Sorry for this. Just a minute. Sorry for this. Actually, I think I used the same sheet for another batch. So already I have everything there. So I just opened a new sheet. Okay. You can able to see, right? All right. So instead of storing like this, if I say I will store a data separately, like customer details. Inside the customer details, if I store customer ID, customer name, and address, that is, the address will be the customer address only, no? So if I save data like this, if I already save data like this, this is my customer details and I have customer ID, customer name, and address. So if I'm saving this data separately, do I need to store this data again? No, right? Because customer name and customer address, I have already saved at the bottom. So I'm just deleting it here. In the same way, if I store product details separately, okay? And I'm just copying this product ID, product name, and price in this table, okay? Just listen, you will understand the entire concept here. So as is stored separately, what I will do here, I will remove this product name and price from here, okay? Because I stored it at the bottom. In the same way, if I store the supplier details separately, okay? And I'm copying everything from here, right? All right. What did just happen? 1 second. Sorry guys, 1 second. All right. So I'm storing it separately at the bottom. I will remove supplier name and manufacturer name from this. Okay. So what I did, this is my base table, right? First, I stored everything in this table only. But if you observe, if I store like this, previously, as we discussed, we are storing the data again and again, right? Like I'm storing smartphone like that. I'm repeating the data a lot. To avoid that, what I did, I started writing the data separately. I wrote customer details here, product details here, and supplier details here. And I removed some columns over here. If you observe, there is some common column in between. Like we have in this table, we have customer ID, and here also we have customer ID. In the same way, we have product ID, supplier ID, and supplier ID, right? And if I'm storing data like this, I don't need to write this every time. I can just remove this, right? Because my supplier ID for supplier ID as well, supplier name will be this own traders and A2 AM traders only, right? And the manufacturer name will be this one only. So by storing the data like this, I am not repeating the data. Okay. One second. So if you observe now what I did here, I have this many tables, right? This is my base table. This is my second table, that is customer details table. This is product details table and supplier details table. But by storing like this also, we can able to understand everything. Like if I want to know the customer name of order ID 3, what I need to do? I need to check order ID is 3. Here for order ID 3, I will check customer ID is C3. Then I will go to customer details table. I will check C3 and I will see the customer name is Nick, right? Even though if I arrange the data separately also, I can able to get all my answers, right? That is the reason I kept common columns here. We have common column of customer ID in this table and in this table, so that we can relate two tables, right? Without, if we don't have customer ID here, we cannot relate. So whenever we are breaking the, if you really observe what we did in the initially, we stored a complete data in one big table. Now I just divided the table into smaller tables, right? This is one table, this is another table, and another table, another small tables. I just divided the big table into smaller tables. And I kept some common columns between them so that I can relate all the answers. If I wanted to know what is the supplier name of order ID 5, what I will do in order ID 5, I will check what is my supplier ID, that is S1. Then I will go to the supplier details table. I will see S1 and what is my supplier name, home traders, right? So I can relate all my answers, right? Still I can relate all my answers. But the advantage or the reason why I'm storing this details like this in the sense, if we break down the tables like this, we are here, you can observe in supplier details, I'm writing home traders and AM traders only once. In previous table, previously what it happened if we store the data like that. See here, what I did, I wrote many times here. Manufacturer name also I wrote many times. Samsung I wrote many times. The trader names also I'm repeating many times. But here I wrote only only once, right? I'm not repeating the data. If I store the data like this, I won't repeat the data. If we repeating the data like this, that is called as data redundancy. And data redundancy in the sense a repetition of data, correct? And this also leads to the wastage of memory. If we are simply writing, for example, if Amazon simply wrote, for example, sorry, just imagine, suppose Amazon sold almost 1,000 iPhones on one day. If we maintain an Excel file, he need to write 1,000 times iPhone, right? Instead of that, if we maintain the database, if I just wrote the data like this, but this is the format where we will store the data in the form of databases. If we want to store the entire data in the databases, we will store like this. What we will do, we will divide the big table into smaller tables, and we can understand the data. Okay. So if we store, if we use the databases, this data redundancy problem will be, it will get overcome, and the wastage of memory also, it won't happen. If we keep on writing every time, that will lead to the wastage of memory, right? So instead of storing a big table, we will divide the long table into smaller chunks. That is called as normalization of data, which we will learn in our normalization concept. But for now, this is how we will store the data in the databases. We will store the data in the databases like in multiple tables. We will store the data in multiple tables, and we will make sure there should be some common column between the tables so that we can relate the tables. Okay. And by doing this only, we can overcome the data redundancy and wastage of memory problem as well. Clear, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Wait. So we discussed so far 4, limitations like data limit, performance issue, accessibility of data, and data redundancy, right? We have two more problems, like 2 more limitations. Okay. And that limitation is about data integrity. One is data integrity. And the second one is data consistency. What is that? We will see in tomorrow's class. Okay. For now, I will stop this concept till here. We covered four limitations. We have 2 more limitations, that is data consistency and data integrity. What is that? I will explain in tomorrow's class. And by using databases, how we are overcoming these 6 problems also, I will explain in almost 10 minutes. Okay, for the first 10 minutes, I will do that. After that, I will show you the user interface of MySQL, and we will start creating databases from tomorrow, to database and tables from tomorrow. Okay, and yeah. So for now, I want to show you index or course content. One second, let me show you course content first. So this is our course content, which we are going to cover in this complete course. Okay. First, introduction to database and SQL, limitations of Excel, which we almost completed. Some more limitations and how we will overcome that limitations by using databases. We will finish tomorrow. And after that, I will basically tomorrow I won't show you the MySQL installation, but here I will show you the MySQL user interface of MySQL. Okay. And next, data types, creation of databases and tables. Can you able to see this clearly? Next, we will cover from here, our practical concepts will start, that is creation of database and tables. Then I will explain about SQL commands. We have this many SQL commands. I will explain each one of them practically. And then we will learn about integrity constants, that is primary key and foreign key. Then we will learn about some clauses like select clause, wait clause, and all. And after this, I will explain you, I will show you, and I will give you this database. That is movies database, or I can say Netflix database. From here, once we're done with this concepts, this is some basic concepts. By using some employees table, we will learn these concepts. Okay. Directly, if I show you big data, you may get confused. So for just covering SQL commands concept, I will use some basic data only. After that, I will use, and each and every concept, we will use this movies database only, Netflix database only. Okay. So first I will explain about the database, and then our actual concept start. That is order by clause, SQL basic operators, range operator, membership operator, distinct. These are some clauses, distinct clause, limit, wildcards. Next, functions. We have one concept called as functions. In that we have many functions like numerical function, character function, date function, temporal functions. Then I can say joins is the most important concept in SQL. If you attend any interview, 70% of the questions they will cover from joins only in SQL interviews. Okay, so we will learn joins very clearly with all real-time examples. Okay, then we will learn where we have some concept called as regular expressions. If you are planning to move to data analytics, data engineer, or data science field, regular expressions is the most important concept for you. And in normal SQL classes, if not that data science, in normal SQL classes, you can check any other institute's course content or index, you will not find this concept. Okay, so in keeping the mind of data analytics or data science students, I added this concept also here. And again, if not data science also, in all other fields also, if you mention that you know regular expressions in your resume, that will be create some good impact on your resume. Okay, then we will learn, we have some clauses like group by clause, having clause, aggregation functions. We will learn each of them. Next, we have a concept called as subqueries. There are two types of subqueries, correlated and non-correlated. We will cover that. Next comes with normalizations, normal forms, and denormalization concept. In that, I will also explain about ER diagrams. Then we have CTs, that is common table expressions, then views, indexes, temporary tables, and stored procedure. This is our course content. These are all the concepts which we are going to learn in this course, along with the real-time Netflix database. Okay. And generally, we will charge like 7,000 for this course, but nowadays, they are giving you a special offer. We are just giving this course for 2,000 only. I will teach each and every concept very practically with that database, and along with that, we will give you the notes as well. All the SQL directly code SQL files only I will upload for you, and you will get access of videos for 6 months. Okay. This is about the index. Let's meet in tomorrow's class. In tomorrow's class, we will continue. All right?
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, one question, just
Yes, please. Yes,
quick
please.
question. When does the regular batch starts?
Actually,
After 3 days?
maybe in 2 days. Yeah.
Maybe in 2 days. Okay.
I can say from Monday our regular batch will start.
Monday,
First,
regular. Okay.
yeah. This is Thursday, right?
Yep,
Maybe
Thursday.
tomorrow and after tomorrow we may have demo classes. And
Okay.
this all concepts whichever I'm explaining in demo classes, that is the course content of main classes as well. I'll cover the main
Yes.
concepts only. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, one more question. Like
Yes.
on the regular classes, do we have these regular classes from Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday?
It depends. Actually, Sunday will be definitely holiday. Saturday, we will decide it on Friday whether to take or not. Maybe on the
Okay.
first week I won't take usually. From the second week, depending upon the syllabus we covered, depending upon the student's choice. If everyone don't want to attend on Saturday, I will we don't have class on Saturday, and depending upon the syllabus also. See, for some batches, I may complete a little bit sooner, so that someone will have already some sort of knowledge on SQL. For them, I may tell 2 or 3 days, little bit quicker, like But
Okay.
in some batches it may take a little bit time. I won't hurry up in explaining the concepts until and unless if everyone is said are satisfied, or everyone is said that they are clear with the concept, then only I will go to the next concept.
Okay,
So-
ma'am. Ma'am, do
so-
you have any idea on timings of the timings from Monday? Like, is it from 6 p.m. or is
Yeah,
it
maximum it will be on the 6 p.m. or else we will just move it 1 hour later. It will be from 7 to 8 p.m. if you all are okay with that. 7 to 8 p.m.
Okay, ma'am. Okay,
Is
ma'am.
it okay?
All right, ma'am.
Yeah, within
I'll ask
3-4 days,
if
we will move the batch to 7 to 8 p.m.
okay, ma'am. If there is any other questions, I'll ask tomorrow, ma'am.
Sure, sure. Do you have any questions, Sarfaraz?
Yes, Ms. Divya, good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, please tell me.
Yes, just wanted to ask, apart from the Netflix, do we have other
Mhm.
projects as well that we would be getting?
Actually, in this course, I will cover only Netflix, but if you need it at the end of our course, I will just provide you the database. I cannot explain that database. I have Instagram database as well, which will be
Mhm.
like all the social media apps, like maybe Facebook, maybe Instagram, every other social media will use that same kind of database. I can just provide you that, but I cannot explain that detail.
That is
If you
fine.
want,
Unless if we have something to work on, that would be great. Some kind
yeah,
of live
correct.
project or so.
Correct. As we are discussing, as we are learning one project, you can relate to any other projects. You can, if you have the database, you can explore on your own once we are done with the course. So at the end, basically, all of my students will ask the same question in every batch. At least one student will ask the same question. So at the end of the day, once we are done with all the concepts, I will discuss important interview questions, and after that, I will give you the Instagram database for you. You guys need to explore everything. Okay. And of course, I will tell the database name also.
Thank you.
I won't change the database name. I will give you the exact database name so that if you search in Google also, you can get the related questions on that database. So that I will give you the database and you can search some questions, and so that you can
All right.
practice
So,
on your own like that. Mhm.
Sure. So apart from basic SQL, do we cover advanced SQL as well in this?
Of course, these are all the concepts of advanced SQL. SQL is like there will be SQL and PLSQL. We are not covering much of PLSQL. We will cover only this procedures at the last. We will have something called as indexes, views, and procedures. These three concepts also comes under PLSQL, and there are some more concepts. I'm not covering entire PLSQL. I'm covering only SQL. But this is the basic and advanced version of SQL. If you learn this, this will be more than enough to start your career in IT.
Okay,
Whether
great.
you have a non-IT experience also, no problem. If you have some gap also, no problem. If you are having sound knowledge in each and every concepts which I am explaining here, that will be more than enough for you to join in any organization. Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys. Let's meet tomorrow. Bye.
Ms. Divya, is that possible if you could share your contact number so that I could just have a few queries before I join the course?
I cannot do that. I'm sorry. You need to contact the admin team only. They will clarify you. Okay.
All right, ma'am. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you.